Hello everyone, I'm Rusty. It's been quite a long time since I uploaded my last video. I was actually pretty busy. I had a tough end of semester, but now everything's done, everything went well. And I'm back here, and in today's video we are going to talk about how to ask questions in Portuguese. More specifically, we're going to talk about the WH words in English and translation in Portuguese and how to use them to ask questions. Those WH words in English are known as interrogative adverbs, and they are used to ask questions that cannot be answered with a yes or no. The answers, like the questions, they will be more specific. So let's see some of them. The first one, who and whose, which translates to quem or de quem. Some examples are: quem escreveu esse livro? Who wrote this book? Or de quem é esse carro? Whose car is this? And it's important to note that in Portuguese you can actually switch the order of the adverb. You could also say, esse carro é de quem? Instead of using de quem in the very beginning of the sentence, you can replace it and put it in the end of the sentence. The second one is what. What in Portuguese is translated to, most commonly, o que. And one example could be, o que você fez no final de semana? What did you do on the weekend? You notice that we write que, but in many parts of Brazil, o que will sound in a question o que instead of o que. O que você fez or o que você fez. You could also ask o que ele disse? What did he say? The next one is very similar to what. It is which, or qual in Portuguese. So you can say, qual é o seu? Which one is yours? Another example of a question would be, qual livro você quer? Which book do you want? And now we go to when. When in Portuguese is quando. And you can use, for example, to ask the question, quando começa o inverno? Or, similarly, inverno começa quando? When does winter begin? Another example would be, quando você vem? Or, você vem quando? When are you coming? When you will come. When referring to places, we use where or onde. Sometimes, aonde. You can ask someone, onde você mora? Where do you live? Or, você mora onde? But when it gives the idea of movement, like where to, you have to use the word aonde. For example, aonde você está indo? Where are you going, or where are you going to? So if it gives the idea of movement, you use aonde. If it's just a place, like the place where you live, you use onde. Although this difference exists, in colloquial language you often see people switching onde or aonde, or even just using onde. It's very common, but just so you know, there's this difference. The idea of movement, you use aonde, and when it's a fixed place, you use onde. A common question that you probably heard somewhere if you've been studying Portuguese for quite a long time is, de onde você vem? Or, de onde você é? Where are you from? So, you use from, the preposition, in front of the adverb onde. So you use de onde você é. Where are you from? The next is why or por quê. There are actually 4 ways of writing por quê in Portuguese, but since we are asking questions, this time we're only gonna use 2. So I will show you the 2 types in one sentence. You could ask, por que eles estão chorando? Or, eles estão chorando por quê? If you use por qué in the beginning of the sentence, you use it the first form that it's showing right here. And if you choose to put it in the end of the sentence, you would choose the second form with the accent, or circunflexo. I've talked about it in one of the first lessons in this video, in this channel, and I'll put the link to the lesson if you want to check it out. And to finish this video, I'm gonna tell you the last WH word that doesn't really start with WH, but it contains both letters. It is how. And I'll give actually 3 examples. How long, how many, and how much. When you use how alone, it is translated in Portuguese to como. Some simple questions that you can ask using this word are: como você aprendeu português? How did you learn Portuguese? Or, como você vai ao trabalho? How do you go to work? When it comes to how many and how much, in Portuguese you would say like this, if it's how many. Quantos filhos você tem? How many children do you have? Or if it's how much, you can say, quanto custa isso? How much does it cost? So how many is quantos, the plural with the s in the end, and how much is quanto. You notice that there are many differences in basic questions that we have in English in Portuguese using these words. For example, what's your name? Although I just told you that what is translated to o que, in Portuguese we say qual o seu nome, which would be translated to which one is your name. Or for example, quantos anos você tem? How old are you? We actually ask how many years do you have, like the literal translation. While studying, you will spot this kind of differences, which is common because it came from different roots. But you also realize that with time and practice, this kind of things becomes more natural, and you get used to choosing when to use o que or qual or quantos or any adverb that you choose to ask your question. I hope you liked and learned from this lesson, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Ciao, ciao.